Harvard professor of law Alan Dershowitz is one of the most distinguished and certainly one of the most famous liberals in this country. Increasingly, though, he doesn't seem to have much of a home left on the left because he refuses to participate in dogmatic attacks on the president. Dershowitz has sharply criticized the Mueller investigation, for instance. He says that anti-Trump hostility is justifying attacks on civil liberties that threaten all of us. For saying that, he says his liberal friends don't invite him to dinner parties anymore, and some bark at him. Professor Dershowitz joins us tonight. Professor, thanks for coming on. I was struck by this story, your account of this, because you've taken unpopular, really unpopular positions, some that I disagree with over the years, and you haven't had this problem.
No.
Why? What's the difference?
Well, it's Trump. Trump changes everything. Just yesterday, on Martha's Vineyard, there was a dinner party to which I was not, my wife and I were not invited, but apparently I was the subject of the entire conversation. People asking, what's happened to Dershowitz? Why is he turned to the right? And I wish I had been there, because I would have pointed my finger at my liberal friends and said, it's all your fault. If you had worked as hard for the election of Hillary Clinton as I did, and if she had been elected and they were trying to impeach or charge her, I'd be saying exactly the same things in defense of her rights, as I did in defense of the rights of Bill Clinton and also in the defense of the rights of Richard Nixon going back to the 1970s.
Well, I
haven't
that.
changed. I have not changed. They have.
So just as a reference point, you were involved in the defense for a little while anyway of O.J. Simpson, who I think is credibly accused of murdering 2 people with a knife. When you went to Martha's Vineyard during those years, 95, 96, did people attack you at dinner parties for that?
A little bit, but not as much as this. It's never been like this. And this time, you know, it includes some of my relatives. As I said, the only thing that hurts me is that up until now, people who are my relatives would tell me, oh, people come over to you and say, you're related to Alan Dershowitz. Wow. Now they say, you're related to Alan Dershowitz? How can you justify what he's been saying about Donald Trump? So it affects my relatives, and that hurts me. I have a thick skin. I've been doing this for years. I've developed the thickest skin imaginable. By the way, a lot of the tweets, then I get hundreds of tweets and messages, a lot of them not only focus on what I've been saying about the constitutional rights of Donald Trump, but they relate it to me being pro-Israel and Jewish and make an anti-Semitic thing out of it as well. And so, you know, there's not only too much anti-Semitism on the right, there's quite a bit of it on the anti-Trump left as well. I'm feeling it.
I've noticed that. So, I mean, you've been at this for, I don't know, wouldn't even want to guess, half a century, an awfully long time, at the kind of forefront of the civil libertarian left. Has that group shrunk? I mean, is it not just Trump, but maybe the left is less interested in traditional civil liberties than it used to be?
Shrunk. There are no civil libertarians left on the left, certainly not the American Civil Liberties Union. They were the ones who said that the raid on Cohen's office, taking his lawyer-client files, was a good thing, not even suggesting what I suggested and what was ultimately adopted by the judge, to have a judicial monitor going through all of these emails. The ACLU is dead in the water when it comes to defending the civil liberties of people who they don't agree with, and that's just awful. There are still some civil libertarians left, but you can count them on one hand. Everybody has to pass the shoe on the other foot test. If the shoe were on the other foot, would you be taking the same position you're taking today? I passed that test. There are some others who passed that test, but too many, both on the right and on the left, don't pass the test. If Hillary Clinton had been elected, a lot of the people who are supporting me and defending me on the right would be attacking me for criticizing the prosecution or the impeachment of Hillary Clinton. We need neutral principles. We need standards of constitutionality that are apolitical, and I refuse to allow partisan politics to preempt my views on the Constitution, which have stayed the same for 50 years.
Amen. When the FBI broke into the Gmail account of that creepy Governor Elliot Spitzer, I defended that creepy Governor Elliot Spitzer.
He's my friend.
I know, but I don't like him.
He was my research assistant. I like Elliot.
But it was totally wrong what they did to him, and it's important to say so. Professor, thank you. Great to see you.
Likewise.